I wanted to engage you, Alfonso, and all of us in reflecting on among practices. Because one of the things that I'm beginning to appreciate from just listening to you is there's something about among practices that seem really pivotal for a congregational profile at minimization on the intercultural development continuum. Would you be willing to say a little further about that?
I would love to. So on the IDC, on the intercultural development continuum, the most people are in minimization and for the longest time. It's a stage that we struggle to move out of because our brain no longer accepts ethnocentrism as correct, and our comfort demands ethnocentrism to maintain order. So we believe that there is racism, that there are racial injustices. We believe that there are disparities. We understand and comprehend, if we're committed and we've sort of claimed as a community these values and these ends. And so intellectually, we know something has to change. And so we've got one foot in, or half of our being in, ethno-relativism, an understanding that multiple experiences are true, folks are having different experiences across lines of race. And we've got half of our being still in ethnocentrism, a belief also that sameness and comfort and consistency are also correct. And there's a lot of us that think, not a lot of us, as there's many parts of who we are that still think, well, if we could all come to agreement about singular ways of doing and being and participating, that maybe that's the solution. But the challenge is that inclination and the solutions that we lift up come from that ethnocentric place. That still part of us thinks our way is the way. It's the universal way. It's the best way or better way. And so the way we show welcome and the way we show curiosity and the way we create patterns, the way we do among reinforces comfort for the dominant culture. But we're beginning to depart. And so what the noticing practice does is it allows us to catch ourselves centering our own comfort if we're part of dominant culture. The noticing practice allows us, if we're part of dominant culture, to say, oh, I got warm, or I got tight, or I recoiled. Or for me, I know when I tuck my leg under my other legs, when my feet leave the ground, right? And so part of why we notice is so that we can ask questions together. The work moving from minimization to acceptance is to increase our self-awareness, that's the noticing, and increase our curiosity about patterns, about behavior, about experience. So to ask together, I wonder what it means that that's our practice. Who have we made central or centralized, or whose perspective have we prioritized because this is our shared practice together? When and how and why do we talk about race? When and how and why don't we talk about race? And so the practices, sort of the among practices to move us from minimization into acceptance is first, that's that noticing, but don't keep it inside. you start to share it. So you notice and name. My face gets really warm when we have this conversation. I wonder what's coming up for other people. We have to move toward goals with greater specificity. If we find ourselves untethered or wandering, the goal is too big. So why have we chosen this practice or this pattern, this thing we're doing, whatever our ministry area is up to? How does it get us closer to, or how is it keeping us far away from our multicultural and racial healing, racial justice ends? We practice as a group spotting patterns together in a non-judgmental way, saying, I notice we repeat this thing or we do this thing. Do others know that we do that? I'm wondering if that's keeping us farther away from this specific goal that we have. And here's the hardest one, y'all. It's not head work. It's not head work. There's no podcast or book or research report or movie you can watch that will help you finally depart ethnocentrism as your home base.
Darn.
It's heart work and it's body work, and that's why it's spiritual work.